hosted by Louisiana 4-H. I'm your host for today, Shawn Myers, a national conference delegate. And joining me today, we have Shawn Zeringue.
How's it going?
All right. So, Mr. Shawn, so it says, you are a communications manager for the Louisiana State Medical Society. He was a 2009 graduate of LSU, where he majored in human resource education. Oh, Lord, what's going on now? Hold on. So where you minored in, ma'am?
Just keep me on the line so I can hear you. I can't hear you on the live anymore.
Okay. Technical difficulties, y'all. Just hold on. Give us a second. We'll get the show rolling. All right. So you majored in human resource education with a focus on agriculture education. You grew up in Lafourche Parish, where you were a member of 4-H for 8 years. So before we dive into our questions, we'll go ahead and dive into this then. What is your favorite 4-H memory?
Sure. There's lots of great 4-H memories that I've had, meeting different people and going different places, being able to travel with the 4-H program. But I would say my favorite 4-H memory is winning Reserve Grand Champion Market Steer at the State Livestock Show. And that's my favorite memory, not necessarily because of the win, although we did celebrate, but also, I guess, more so of what the steer meant or what the steer symbolized. In April of 2001, my older brother passed away in a car accident. And at that time, he had already purchased his steer for his senior year and had already started feeding and tending to the steer. So shortly after his passing, I kind of made a promise to him that I would see his project through, that I would feed the steer and tend to it. And having that win at the end of the show season was something that happiness, a lot of joy to an otherwise kind of sad situation.
Definitely. We have some comments rolling in. So we had one from the Louisiana Livestock Association and now Miss Christina Hebert. Hi, Miss Christina. So now moving on, how has 4-H contributed to who you are today?
Being a member of the 4-H program has really kind of helped shape and mold who I am today and really kind of laid a solid foundation of different life skills and interpersonal skills that have helped me be successful later on in college and even in my professional career. The different activities that I participated in 4-H taught me a lot of different things, working with others, leadership skills, communication skills that, we could use in our everyday lives. And I really appreciate my time with 4-H and the skills that it taught me.
Definitely. They teach us a lot of great skills. All right, now moving on to our next question. How have any of these skills you learned during your time in 4-H helped you in your professional career? Which one?
Absolutely. Like I said, it's a plethora of different skills that 4-H teaches through different activities. Just being able to speak in front of people through public speaking is something that a lot of people fear and are hesitant to speak in front of groups or in front of people. So having that opportunity to develop that skill in 4-H is something that I use. Being a part of different judging teams and learning decision making and how to defend that decision is something I use in my professional career. Like I mentioned before, working with others, being able to take a leadership role, being confident in leading a group or leading a project is all things that I've learned in 4-H and that I've used throughout the years in my professional career.
Good answer. All right, now we're going to go ahead and move on to our next question. So who was the most influential person in your life?
That's a really tough question and I guess a really good question all at the same time. I don't know if there's one particular person that I would say has been the most influential. I tend to believe that people come in and out of our lives at different times for a reason, and it's up to us to kind of learn what we can from those people. My parents have always been a big influence on me. They've always been extremely supportive. We've had lots of outlandish ideas growing up, and they've always been our number one supporters and getting us to where we need to go and being the cheerleaders in the front row, pushing us to do our best and to succeed. And, that's been immeasurable in terms of having that support to be confident and to take risk and do different things. My time in 4-H, my 4-H agent, David Bolt, was a huge influence. David pushed me to get involved in different activities. He pushed me to take part in different things, and I guess saw something in me. And I appreciate that because of him, I've able to develop this skill set and be successful later on in life. Something I appreciate about David is he also held us accountable. So as supportive as he was, he also made sure that if we committed to something, we saw it through. So if, you didn't attend practice or didn't show up to a meeting that you were supposed to, you had to answer it and mount up to that decision. And even when I was a 4-H agent, David was always someone that I would go to for advice or counsel. And when doing things, I thought about my 4-H experience and how David shaped it and hoped to have had that same effect on the members of my 4-H program. Right out of college, after teaching for a year and realizing that the classroom isn't necessarily where I want it to be, I reached out to my collegiate livestock judging coach's wife, Jackie Lackey, who owned an agricultural advertising and marketing firm. And she kind of took me under her wing and afforded me an opportunity that I can never repay her for, teaching me graphic design skills, effective marketing, proper communication, and gave me opportunities that kind of set me on the path that I am, I'm on today. Again, when I was a 4-H agent, my coworker, Katie Strecker, had a huge influence on me. Katie is one of the most compassionate and big-hearted people I know. She's always been a person to say yes and to help anyone that she can, regardless of the circumstance or the time. And through working with Katie, her influence helped me be more compassionate, to be more understanding, and to become a yes person, to help whoever I can, whenever I can. And then I guess, if I had to pick one person or think of an overarching influence, I would have to say my older brother, Chris. He was, everything a kid would want in a big brother. We grew up together doing lots of different things. Losing him was probably one of the most challenging and heartbreaking things I went through. But also he taught me to take advantage of the opportunities at hand. That it's okay to take risk and to try different things and take advantage of the time that we have because we don't know how much time we do have. So again, lots of different influences. And if anything, that's what I would tell 4-H members is to, learn from as many people as you can. Take guidance, take leadership, don't be afraid to ask for help and learn from the people that are around you.
Definitely. Now, you mentioned something about being a 4-H agent. You were a 4-H
Yes, sir.
agent?
I was a 4-H agent in East Baton Rouge Parish for 4 years. I believe it was from 2012 to 2016, and really enjoyed my time as a 4-H agent. My professional career is probably unconventional at best. As you mentioned, I graduated in human resource education with a focus on ag ed. So I taught for a year, and while I did enjoy it, I realized that the classroom wasn't for me, that I had all these creative ideas and things that I wanted to do. So like I said, I pursued an opportunity with a small marketing firm and did that for a few years and then returned back to the 4-H program and really enjoyed that. And then when another professional opportunity came available, it kind of married a lot of different things that I was interested in and just kind of took it on from there.
It's amazing. So we'll go ahead and move on to our next question. You see Terrebonne Parish said, you're amazing, Shawn. So during your time in 4-H, which project/contest did you partake in?
I was a very active 4-H member. As I mentioned before, I probably did as many things as I could. At the local level, I was a school officer in my local club, a junior leader member and officer, a member of our 4-H advisory committee. Did the record books, the posters, the cookery contests. I think I even did a few sewing contests when I was first starting out. As I mentioned before, I was really active in the livestock program. I showed steers, heifers, hogs, and sheep, and really enjoyed that program. And then was fortunate enough, like I mentioned, to have Mr. David and other volunteers to be very successful in judging contests. I was the high individual in the dairy judging contest and went on to the World Dairy Expo and competed there. I was a member of the state champion meat ID team and went on to compete in Kansas City, and I believe our team placed sixth. I was a member of the state champion poultry judging team, and our team placed second at nationals in Louisville. I was a member of the state champion livestock judging team and was a high individual there, and went on to compete and place eighth at nationals. And then a member of the state champion horse judging team and went on to regionals and the American Quarter Horse World Competition. And, you know, being able to do all those different contests are still, like I mentioned, still things that I use today with decision making and speaking in front of people, and still, you know, judge different livestock shows around the state and around Mississippi and the southern area. So really fortunate to have been a part of a great 4-H program. And like I said, you know, take advantage of as many opportunities as I could.
Definitely, definitely. That's a lot of oh, look, Louisiana 4-H livestock posted again. That's a lot of different areas that you were really good in, and you're a really good role model for, you know, youth and
Thank you.
All right. So next question: if you could change one thing or reverse one decision in life, what would it have been?
That's another really tough question. You know, I try not to think of, you know, what might have been or what could have been. I try to look at it as you're given an opportunity to make a decision, and for better or for worse, you have to grow and learn from those decisions that you make. Um, I guess if I had to pick something to change or something to reverse, I would go back to college. I think it was my end of my sophomore year where I realized that med school wasn't going to happen because of chemistry and math. So I needed to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And at the time, I thought that becoming an ag teacher was a good avenue because I enjoyed my time with 4-H and FFA so much. And as I mentioned, you know, after a year in the classroom, I realized that that wasn't the avenue for me. So, you know, looking back, I think I would have given myself a little more time to grow and explore different opportunities and possibly pursue a degree in mass comm or somewhere in that communications realm.
Yeah. Touching back on what you said, you know, that's an amazing advice to never look back and just keep going forward. You don't have time to dwell on the past.
That's
All right.
exactly it. I mean, you can only look forward and move forward. So there's no point in, you know, dwelling in what could have been or how you could have changed something. I think it's important that we just seize the moment and grow from the opportunities that we have and the choices that we've made, and, you know, not pigeonhole ourselves or pinpoint ourselves to one thing. You know, you have your whole life to develop yourself and to pursue your goals, pursue your dreams, and, you know, take advantage of that.
Exactly. Everything happens for a reason.
That's
All
it.
right. We're going to move on. Our next question. What is your biggest accomplishment, both in 4-H and beyond?
Um, Again, another really big question. I like to think that my biggest accomplishment may be still ahead. The thing I'll say that I'm most proud of is being involved with the Drive Youth Livestock publication. You know, growing up, my Sports Illustrated was the National Livestock Exhibitor or the Show Circuit magazine. You know, thumbing through those magazines and seeing all the different ads for different farms or programs with livestock, and I just soaked that up and really enjoyed that. So when I was afforded the opportunity to help spearhead a livestock publication, mainly one focused in youth involved in the program, you know, I was ecstatic. And looking back at my time in the program, I realized that one thing that was missing was that educational experience through publications. So when we started Drive Magazine, it was our focus that we would provide educational editorial content for youth. That way they had an outlet and they had a resource to go to. You know, we still had ads. Of course, we had to pay the bills, but we made sure that we included different editorial pieces that provided kids information, you know, from industry leaders and business leaders about how to get started and how they've become successful, to different how-tos in terms of picking your project, getting it ready for show day, do's and don'ts on show day, you know, and because of that magazine, while it maybe didn't last or stick around for as long as we had hoped, you know, it really caused a shift in the industry. And now you can't pick up a youth livestock publication that doesn't have editorial content. And that change is something that, you know, was really needed. And being a part of that program and a part of that change is something I'm really proud of.
That's great. So you started your own magazine. There's another little fact. All right, so that might that one more question. If you had one tidbit of advice to leave our 4-Hers following / watching the series that you might have not already said, what would it be?
Um, I don't know. I don't believe that I have some magic words of wisdom or sage advice to leave. If anything, I would just say, just remember to be kind to each other. I mean, we live in a world now that is just so divisive and almost hate driven and filled, and everyone's so critical and so crucial on each other over the tiniest things that at the end of the day, it's just important for us to remember that we're all just human. We're all here just trying to find happiness, try to find our place in this world. And regardless if you don't see eye to eye, you don't agree, you have to agree to disagree. It's just important that we stay kind to each other and treat each other with respect and dignity.
Definitely. Those are some amazing words that we can hear at this time. All right. I think that just about covers it. I guess we could open the floor to any questions that maybe our listeners might have at this time. Just a reminder, if you're watching this, look, Ashley Wilson Mullins said, "We love Shawn." Just a
Lots of
reminder, if you're
support from
watching,
the viewers.
just a reminder, if you're watching this right now and you'd like to watch it again, we'll have recordings of this on the Louisiana 4-H Facebook page, as well as the Louisiana 4-H YouTube page. So if we don't have any questions, and we have a little lag going on right now, but if we don't have any questions from the audience, that'll just about cover it. It was nice talking to you, Shawn.
Likewise, thank you for having me be a part of this. It's something I look forward to. And like I said, I really enjoyed my time with 4-H. So anytime that I have the opportunity to give back or do something for the program, I'm more than happy to do so.
Definitely. So that'll just about end it. Thank you for joining us, and that's it. Bye.